I am 13 and my classroom teacher, who's married with kids, has a crush on me. Hello everyone. So I feel like today's story is going to be a bit sensitive, but then again I feel like every single one of my stories are sensitive. So I don't know how long this video is going to be because the DM itself is around
9 pages long.
So we'll see, but all in all, as per usual, get comfy, grab your snacks, grab your nasi ayam penyet or whatever sedapnya. You know, kain nak lipat ke, nak iron ke apa semua, get comfortable. And let's get on with today's story. Hello everyone, we're back with another story. This is another one of the story submissions in my DMs. Today's story started with a girl and we're gonna call her Yaya. This story started when Yaya started high school. She went to a boarding school, specifically SBP, in one of the states in Malaysia. In case you're not Malaysian or you just don't know what SBP is, it's basically just a boarding school where smart kids go to. So obviously when Yaya got offered to study in SBP, she thought that, you know, all the teachers there are going to be so professional, like her educational journey would be like flawless, everything would just be fine. Well, like every other protagonist in all of my stories from my DM series, she thought wrong. When she entered Form 1 when she was 13, she had a teacher who's kind of like her classroom teacher. Basically, he didn't teach Yaya's class. He was just there to manage things, basically in charge for like the classroom cleanliness, decorations, and all of the students in that class. And because of that, Yaya and this classroom teacher got kind of close. And this teacher, we're gonna call him Papa Zola, just to lighten things up. Fast forward to the middle of the year, Yaya became sort of like an assistant to the class president, so she became closer to Papa Zola. Also, in case you don't know, Papa Zola and Yaya are characters in Bobo Boy, which is an animated series that's kind of famous in Malaysia and is a personal favorite. I love Bobo Boy. Like I'm obsessed. You have no idea. Anyways, back to the story. Basically, the class president. Okay, my cat jumped on the table again. Hello, sir. Can you piss off? And Yaya said she did most of the work because the class president never really did anything. So she was always the one who would like pass the attendance list to the class teacher, to Papa Zola. And because she did most of the work, she had to like be in contact and interact more with Papa Zola, and because of that, she became a lot more comfortable with him. But Yaya said in her DM, even though she was quite close to Papa Zola, she was also like okay with her other teachers. Like she also talked to her other male teachers, so it was just not Papa Zola. After some time, Papa Zola started to joke around with Yaya a lot, but his jokes turned into like flirty kind of jokes where he would say I love you, and he would say other flirty things to Yaya, but Yaya never really did take it seriously because she thought it was a joke, because obviously she's 13 and this is a grown man. When Yaya turned 14 and she entered Form 2, she was not in contact with Papa Zola as much as she was when she was Form 1, but they did still like say hi to each other whenever they pass each other through the hallway, and they would still see each other whenever like she visits the teacher's room or whatever. Oh right, Papa Zola is also a geography teacher, and obviously because Papa Zola is a geography teacher, he's in charge of the geography room. And one day he invited Yaya into the geography room, but he made it very clear that Yaya had to come alone without any of her friends. And inside the geography room, there's a storeroom. So when Yaya finally went to the geography room, Papa Zola told her that, oh, I need your help to clean the storeroom in there. And then Yaya was like, oh, yeah, sure. So she went into the storeroom, and there, Papa Zola surprised her with just a bunch of chocolates because apparently it's her birthday. So he surprised her for her birthday. And because this man, Papa Zola, treated Yaya with so much care. She couldn't help her feelings. Like her feelings started to grow to Papa Zola and she unintentionally liked him. And even when she was 14, she knew that it was wrong. Now, of course, she knows that it's wrong because she's a grown up now. But when she was 14, she knew that her feelings were wrong. But obviously, Yaya never told anyone about her feelings to Papa Zola because at that time, she was like fighting her own demons and she didn't want to tell anyone about what she was receiving from Papa Zola and what she felt for Papa Zola, basically. And then fast forward when Yaya entered Farm 3 and this time she was 15. And then suddenly, one day, Papa Zola approached Yaya again and said that he needed to see her in the geography room during lunch hour because he needed to tell Yaya something very important. And then at that time, Yaya didn't think much of it, but Yaya was like, oh yeah, okay, sure. So she ate early and then she went to the geography room. And again, when Yaya entered the geography room, Papa Zola told her to go into the storeroom. But at that time, Yaya was kind of reluctant, so she said no. And she just told Papa Zola to just say what he wanted to say from like inside. Like, why do we need to go to the storeroom? But also at that time, I think, this is just my personal opinion, but I think at that moment, Yaya was low-key scared because even though she didn't mention it in her DM, she did say that PS, the storerooms, the door of the storeroom is like the kind of like heavy door that when you like leave it open, it would just automatically close. You know what I mean? What do they call that type of door that it automatically close? Like, it's a heavy door. It's a heavy door, yeah. So Papa Zola was already in the storeroom, so he was just sitting there, and then Yaya was like leaning against the door, like supporting it so that it wouldn't like shut. And he kept pressuring her, like Papa Zola kept pressuring Yaya, asking her to come into the storeroom. And it's gotten to a point where Yaya was like, just say what you want to say. If you don't want to say it, I'm just gonna go back to class. And then, he turned bright red because Yaya said Papa Zola is the type of person who's very fair, like he's extremely fair. So when he's like embarrassed or mad or like, I don't know, shy or whatever, you can see it on his face because he just turned red. And then I guess Papa Zola just gave up. So he started to like say something, but he couldn't finish his sentence because he was stuttering. He was like, and then Papa Zola said to our girl, Yaya, he said, I actually love you, Yaya. Right. And at that point, obviously, Yaya acted cool, but inside she was like, wait, what the hell? And then Papa Zola followed that up with like, so how do you feel about me? Like, do you like me? How do you feel? And then Yaya was like, oh, I couldn't hear you just now. Like, what did you say? Can you like say it again to me? Because I didn't catch that. And then Papa Zola was like, oh, I can't repeat what I said. Like, I'm not gonna like say it again. And then Yaya's like, oh, okay, then I'm just gonna like go back to class, I guess. Fast forward to when Yaya came back home for a short holiday. Papa Zola texted Yaya. He was like, hey Yaya, do you already have an answer for my question the other day? And then Yaya obviously tried to change the topic, but obviously Papa Zola didn't care. He's expecting an answer when Yaya came back to school after the holiday finished. And at that point, Yaya was sort of disturbed by everything that's happening because one, she realized, even though she liked Papa Zola Loki, she realized that she's underage and Papa Zola is a grown man and this is what grooming is basically. And second of all, Papa Zola is a husband. He is married with kids. He has children. And because Yaya was uncomfortable and she was a bit irritated by it, she decided to tell her parents everything. And I'm also glad that she has like a very strong support system where she can trust her parents fully to tell them about what's currently happening and what's making her uncomfortable, because there are other kids that don't have that privilege to tell their parents these things. And so after the break finished, Yaya's dad went to school and meet up with the principal and also Yaya's classroom teacher. At that time she was form 3, so her form 3 classroom teacher. I'm stupid. And during the meetup with Yaya's dad and the principal and Yaya's current, well, at that time, classroom teacher, I'm guessing Papa Zola was there because Yaya said in her DM that Papa Zola was kind of like insinuating that Yaya just had it all in her head and she was just overthinking it, and she just thought that Papa Zola liked her when in reality Papa Zola never had those feelings for her. Like, he gaslighted her into thinking that everything was just in her head. And he also said something along the lines of like, oh, I treated all of my students like that. I love them all equally. Yaya was just like,
Okay, so do you invite all of them into the storeroom of your geography room to tell them that you love them? You creepy piece of ick.
after that meetup and after that incident, Yaya heard from her seniors that a lot of like, not a lot, all of the male teachers in that school entered every single class that were in that school and told every students that if a certain teacher or anyone from school came up to you and say that, oh, I love you, and like give you flirty jokes or whatever, they're just playing around and it's not serious. Please don't think that the teachers like you for real and have feelings for you, because they're all just joking. So it's obvious that her classroom teacher at that time or Papa Zola told every single one of the teachers in that school. Well, just male teachers, I guess. Fast forward to Form 4 when she's 16, Form 5 when she's 17. They had no more interaction, alhamdulillah. Fast forward during the SPM trial, Yaya is one of those kids in those batch. I think I don't remember what year it was, but there was one year where there's a batch of SPM candidates who took SPM trial when they're 18. I feel like if you're Malaysian, you remember this. So Yaya is a part of that batch. So basically, when Yaya was taking her SPM trial, her section was not the section that Papa Zola was supposed to be taking care of. Like, her section was the other way, like it was the opposite way of the section that Papa Zola was taking care of. But then suddenly Papa Zola just walked to her table and then gave her a note before walking away again. And Yaya thought that, oh, maybe he gave me answers or whatever. But when Yaya opened up the paper, it was just a written note from him saying, all the best for trial, Yaya. And at that point, Yaya was quite annoyed because, like, why are you putting so much effort into trying to talk to me? Like, what's going on? And then fast forward to the actual SPM session, and during that time it was COVID, so parents weren't allowed to visit their kids at school, and students were allowed to bring phones to school in case of like anything, like got sick or whatever. And because Yaya was talking to her friend and they were having sort of like a heart-to-heart conversation, and then Yaya's friends was saying to her that, oh, maybe we should just like apologize to everyone that we've wronged in the past so that we're more blessed for this exam, because it's a very big exam. So I know if you're like Malaysian who's, you know, who took SPM, you know what I'm talking about. Like, we would have that like a certain like period of time where we're like, oh, I should like ask everyone for forgiveness so that God can, like, you know, bless me with great results for SPM, because it's such a big exam. And then Yaya, she did say in this DM that it was a dumb move, but she texted the teacher. She texted Papa Zola. She texted him saying that, you know, thank you for all the education that you provided, and I'm sorry if things went the wrong way or whatever. It was just a normal, simple apology, and that was it. But then suddenly Papa Zola replied to her saying that he wanted to see her, like meet her face to face, just so that, you know, he could apologize to her. And at first Yaya was like, why do we Like, why do we need to see each other face to face? Like, what for? But then she thought, you know what, maybe it's okay, maybe it was the last time that I'm gonna see him. And also because he was a teacher for one of the subjects that she took for SPM, so she was expecting that, oh, maybe he could give me certain tips to write for my essay or whatever. So yeah, why not, I just go see him for the last time. And then when they meet up, he apologized to her, and then Yaya asked him, like, why would you say that to me? Like, it ruined like our teacher-students relationship. Like, why would you say that back in the storeroom? And then Papa Zola was like, oh no, it was just because you look very nice. You know, you're just so nice. You're just such a nice person, and you look nice. So that's why I fell in love with you, I guess. Fast forward when Yaya finished school, Papa Zola would still reach out to her and ask her, how are things? Where are you studying now and everything? And Yaya would always just try to shut it down, like shut down the conversation. And Yaya didn't know how to like properly cut off contact or whatsoever, because she knew she couldn't block him, because apparently she knew that he has like some black magic going on, and she's scared. And then fast forward when Yaya entered matriculation, and for those of you who don't know, matriculation is sort of like foundation, like A levels. So imagine this man has been disturbing her since she was 13, and she's now, I think, 19, 20 years old. And one day when she was already studying in matriculation, she received a text message at 12:30 a.m. from a number that she did not save. And when she checked the message, it was from Papa Zola. And at that point, Yaya was like, I finished school. What more do you want from me? He was asking her things like, are there any like cafes or like nice places to walk or visit near your matriculation center? And Yaya was like, oh, I don't know. And then Papa Zola was like, hey Yaya, do you have classes on like Sunday? Because I'm going over there because I have like a job, like a thing to do, and I was thinking that maybe I could like pick you up from your matriculation center, and then we could like, I don't know, go to cafes and just walk around and like visit some places over there. And Yaya kept thinking like, why did you have to text me at 12:30 a.m.? Why can't you just text me at like normal hours, like tomorrow or whatever? Like, why do you have to text me at 12:30 a.m.? Like, this is just weird. You're married. Where's your wife? Like, what's going on? And then thank God at that time, all matriculation centers in Malaysia, they didn't allow students to go out of the center because of COVID outbreak. So she told him that, oh, I can't go out during weekends because, you know, my matriculation center said no, basically. And when she finished matriculation, he still texted her. Like, Papa Zola still texted her. And this time around, he asked her, oh, do you have a boyfriend? And the latest message that Yaya received from Papa Zola was this year. And this time around, he messaged her through Telegram at 1 a.m. And he used the secret message feature, because apparently in Telegram, there's a feature for like messages to self-destruct, and if you screenshot it, you wouldn't be able to see it. And Yaya said that it was very creepy, because like, why can't you just use normal messages? Why can't you just message me during normal hours of the day? Why do you have to text me at 1 a.m, 12 a.m, like every single day? It would just be like midnight. Who am I, Cinderella? The first two messages that he sent, Yaya just seen it and she didn't reply. And then he sent another message in the morning, like the morning after, and Yaya seen again because she couldn't be bothered to reply. And then he deleted everything, I'm guessing because he was embarrassed. And then Yaya blocked his number. Oh, also I forgot to mention that when Papa Zola was messaging Yaya during her matriculation years, he kept asking her about her private details, like, you know, oh, what course are you taking, which campus are you like studying in, like which block are you staying in, do you rent out a house, like which house do you rent, like, this extremely just creepy private details that she's not willing to share with him. And Yaya said the reason why she decided to share this story is because she wanted everyone to know that if you encounter anything like this, please tell someone about it, your friend, your parents, or other teachers, because at one point even she herself thought like what this teacher was doing is not wrong, like it was okay, but it's obviously not okay. What he did was wrong. And she said when she's finally grown, like right now, she became kind of disgusted with herself for, liking him for that short period of time when, he gave her chocolates. And apparently, according to this DM, Yaya wasn't the first student he did this to. Apparently, he did it to another student from his old school that he taught at. And this student ended up liking him and developed feelings for him and kept asking him out. I'm guessing this is like a normal thing for him. He's a pedophile. And yeah, you might think that this is like a normal story and what he did might be normal because he never touched her, he never did anything. But I think if Yaya were to let him, like gave him any chances, like let's say na'uzubillah, she went into the storeroom in another universe, in another dimension, she went into the storeroom with him, what do you think could happen? And I know we should all just snooze on and everything, but why is this grown man texting this girl during midnight? Why? Like, there are other hours of the day. Like, God gave us so many hours of the day. Like, why do you only text her during midnight? Something's off. But yeah, just be careful out there if you're still in school or if you're in uni or whatever. If a man is treating you in a way that you're not comfortable with, be brave enough to say no and be brave enough to tell someone about what you're currently going through. You know what? This is why I think it is very important to yap. It's very important to yap about every single thing in your life so that, na'uzubillah, if anything were to happen to you, someone knows. But yeah, just, be safe out there, everyone. And I'm losing light because it's 6:30. Alrighty, so I myself am gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna continue yapping again next week. Also, I was thinking maybe I should do like a makeup tutorial sort of video next week because I've received a lot of like DMs on TikTok and a couple of comments from here asking me for a makeup tutorial, and I am kind of dumb, but if you ask, I am going to deliver. So if I were to do a get ready with me, I wouldn't be able to give y'all a story from my DM because a lot of stories in my DMs are very traumatizing and I don't think it's right to use any of them as a background for my get ready with me. You know what I mean? So I was thinking maybe I could do a get ready with me while I answer any questions that you guys have about me or about life or just advices in general, or I could do a get ready with me while I tell you my personal experience of me being in a reality TV show. But I've already made that video on TikTok, but that was a very rough edition because it wasn't that long. So comment down below if you guys want the get ready with me, the makeup tutorial, to be a Q&A edition of it, or if you want it to be basically me putting on makeup while I tell you my experience in a reality TV show in Malaysia, which I entered in 2021, I guess. So yes, comment down below which one you want to see for next week, and I will deliver it to you, inshallah. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any stories of your own that you would like to share, my DM and my emails are always open for both men and women. See you next week, everyone. Bye bye.